This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
UHD quality video streaming, internet like a boss, SLT Mobitel Fiber,
IWS Aviation.
A very good evening and a very warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Savindra Javardhana. Let's look at the top stories for the day. Colombo Port dispels rumors and reassures global customers. Government revises taxes to boost revenue. News in detail. Colombo Port yesterday held a press conference to dispel rumors and reassure global customers to claim that it is in business as usual when it comes to port operations in terms of productivity and reliability in spite of challenges faced by the country. Sri Lanka Ports Authority Chairman Dr. Prasantha Jayamana communicated the long-standing measures in place to ensure smooth port operations.
Whatever the things which are happening inside the country has very limited effect on port-related activities. That is the main thing that we wanted to tell. Because we have come up with the long-standing mechanisms to prevent our workers are not coming to work. Like whenever there is an issue of transportation, there are buses that we have put. We started this thing long time back during the COVID period. Our own transportation mechanism goes and pick all the employees who are supposed to come to a particular shift. And similarly, SAGT and CICT also does this similar type of mechanism. In that case, whatever going outside, the issues with the buses, issues with the transportation, have very limited effect on us. And similarly, we have created some shifts mechanism where our workers could stay for a longer period and complete their work and go on. Then the unwanted time waste of traveling and shift changing also we have reduced. And Port of Colombo is having a couple of fuel storage tanks, which we maintain adequate fuel for the port-related functions.
In the meantime, Chief Executive Officer of South Asia Gateway Terminals, Romesh David, who also addressed the press conference, commented how a majority of port operations are insulated from developments within the country.
So there is no substance. It must be clear to everyone that ultimately the port operates as a transshipment hub. Whatever signal we give from here, the 85% of the volume that we handle in the port is business that has nothing to do with Sri Lanka. It is neither an import nor an export. It simply comes here on one ship and goes out on another ship. And that is the primary function of the port. So there is no question of, and if we take history going back to even the late 1990s, at every point in time, the port operations have been completely insulated by issues that the country faced. This included when there were terrorist attacks even in the port. And if we take some of the major milestones, where in 1999 SAGT came into being, that was at the height of the war at that time. And that was a big investment, $250 million investment at that time, because there was value in what we are offering as a service. If you take CICT in 2008, it came on the back of the greatest global financial crisis, and it was a 500 plus, almost $600 million investment. Simply again, because of the value that Colombo and Sri Lanka, the Port of Colombo, provides to global shipping lines in the context of the services that they offer.
The government yesterday announced new tax measures including reintroduction of previous rules to recover at least half of the revenue loss due to relief given in November 2019. Following cabinet approval on Monday, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday unveiled the new tax regime with two measures with immediate effect and others from 1st October and next year. The Prime Minister's office in a statement said that low tax regime of 2019 caused an annual loss of 600 to 800 billion rupees in tax revenue to state coffers. Estimated revenue envisaged from new measures is nearly 300 billion rupees next year. Immediate measures are VAT rate at 12% and decreasing VAT threshold from 300 million rupees per annum to 120 million rupees per annum effective from the 1st of October 2022. Additional new VAT exemption schedule will be revived aimed at removing unproductive exemptions based on the economic benefits. The other immediate move is restoration of telecommunication levy at 15% as opposed to 11.25% at present. Revisions to personal and corporate income tax were also announced. Among them were reduction of the personal relief from 3 to 1.8 million rupees effective from the 1st of October and revision of personal income tax rates effective from the 1st of October ranging from a low rate of 4% for first 1.2 million rupees and a high of 32% for over 8.2 million rupees. Withholding tax has also been brought back. Additionally, withholding tax on service payments exceeding 100,000 rupees per month made to individuals such as professionals will be at the rate of 5% effective from the 1st of October. Reintroduction of relief on interest income of 1.5 million rupees for senior citizens effective from the 1st of October was also announced. In terms of corporate tax, the standard CIT rate was raised from 24% to 30% and increasing the concessionary CIT rate from 14% to 15% effective from the 1st of October, making dividends paid by resident company to non-resident persons liable to income tax effective from the 1st of April 2023. Prime Minister also announced plans to revisit the definition given for multinational companies under the Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017 effective from the 1st of April 2023 to improve the clarity of the definition. Noting that the tax rates pertaining to betting and gaming levy have remained unchanged since 2015 onwards, several increases have been proposed, including increasing the annual levy for carrying on the business of gaming from 200 to 500 million rupees. Prime Minister's office said in addition to these tax policy reforms, steps will be taken to strengthen revenue administration at revenue collecting agencies such as Sri Lanka Customs, Inland Revenue Department and Excise Department with the infusion of technology and rigorous tax audits. Stay tuned for more news right after this break.
News, views, highlights, updates and opinions. This is Wake Up With Us.
Welcome back after the break. The Colombo Consumer Price Index for all the items in the month of May 2022 as compiled by the Department of Census and Statistics is at 195.2. This increase of 15 index points from 180.2 in April 2022 represents an increase in expenditure value of 9,073 rupees and 42 cents in the market basket. The CPI has weights derived from the 2012 to 2013 Household Income and Expenditure Survey. The month-on-month changes were contributed by increases of food and non-food items by 3.47% and 4.87% respectively. Among food items and non-alcoholic beverages, increases in value change were reported for most items except coconut oil, papo, green chilies and big onions, for which decreases in value change were reported. Among non-food groups, increases in value change were reported for all groups except for the groups of communication and education, which remain unchanged during this period. The overall rate of inflation as measured by CCPI on a year-on-year basis is 39.1% in May 2022, and the inflation calculated for April 2022 was 29.8%. The year-on-year inflation of the food group increased to 57.4% in May 2022 from 46.6% in April 2022, and the year-on-year inflation of the non-food group increased to 30.6% in May 2022 from 22% in April 2022. On a year-on-year basis, contribution of food commodities to inflation was 18.30% in May 2022. Contribution of non-food items was 20.84%. This was mainly due to price increases in value change in all groups except in the group communication, which remained unchanged during the period. The moving average inflation for the month of May 2022 is 14.2%. The corresponding rate for the month of April 2022 was 11.3%. In the meantime, Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaraweera yesterday said that the coming food crisis should be addressed with the cultivation drive. Speaking at the post-cabinet press briefing, Minister assured that steps have been taken to encourage crop planting as part of increasing local produce.
අපේ රටේ තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව ගත්තත් අපිට අපි අභියෝගය අපිට අනෙකුත් රටවල් වලට වගේම තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපිට ඊටත් වැඩිය දැන්න සමහර කාරණා තිබෙනවා. මොකද අපිට පසුගිය කන්න කීපය අපිට සාර්ථක කරගන්න බැරි වීම නිසා අපිට අභියෝගය තවත් උග්‍රාතට හැරෙමින් තිබෙන බව රහසක් නෙමෙයි. දැන් මේ වෙනුවෙන් ගත හැකි ගත යුතු ක්‍රියාමාර්ග පිළිබඳව ඊයේ කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලෙත් අපි දීර්ඝ වශයෙන් සාකච්ඡා කරා. ඊට පෙර අමාත්‍යාංශ මට්ටමේදී මම උදේ ඉඳලා රැ වෙනකන් මේ දවස්වල විවිධ මට්ටම් වල මේ පිළිබඳව රටේ සිටින විශ්වවිද්‍යාලවල මහාචාර්යවරු, කෘෂි ශාස්ත්‍රයේ, ඒ වගේම පරිපාලන සේවා නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමය, ඒ වගේම විවිධ ශාස්ත්‍රවල සිටින මේ පිළිබඳ උනන්දුවක් දක්වන කණ්ඩායම්, ඒ වගේම හෙට දිනේ සිට ගොවි සංවිධාන, මේ සියලු පාර්ශ්ව සමග අපි සාකච්ඡා කරමින් මේ ලෝක ආහාර අර්බුදයට මුහුණ දීම සඳහා අපේ රට සූදානම් කරන ආකාරය පිළිබඳව අදහස් සුවමාරු කරගෙන තිබෙනවා. අපේ රටේ අපිට විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා අපි හැම කෙනෙක්ම මේ කාරණේ හරියට වටහා ගත්තොත් අපිට මේ අභියෝගයට මුහුණ දෙන්න ශක්තිය තියෙනවා. ඒ සඳහා පෙළ ගැස්වීමක් අවශ්‍යයි. ඒ සඳහා මඟ පෙන්වීමක් අවශ්‍යයි. ඒ සඳහා දැනුවත් කිරීමක් අවශ්‍යයි. ඒ නිසා අපි මේ සියල්ලටම සූදානමින් අද ඉන්නේ.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, with financial assistance from the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, is providing technical support to develop the fisheries and aquaculture sector in Sri Lanka. This FA-NORAD global cooperation will work with the Ministry of Fisheries on 3 focus areas in Sri Lanka, and they are developing capacities to implement robust port state measures to combat illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, to increase resilience of the fisheries and aquaculture sector to climate change and reducing food loss and waste along the fisheries value chain in Sri Lanka. Secretary to the State Ministry of Fisheries Jayantha Chandrasoma noted that Sri Lanka's fisheries industry is undergoing many difficulties due to the increase in fuel prices, production costs and the increase in prices of fish. Secretary Chandrasoma holds that more than 50% of animal protein requirements of Sri Lankans are obtained through fish consumption, and the increase in fish prices have negatively impacted the affordability of fish and fisheries-related products, particularly for low-income groups. The Secretary further added that finding ways of reducing fish loss and waste, reducing production costs by introducing energy-efficient fishing vessels and the use of alternative energy sources has been challenging. It is hoped that with the support provided by FAO and Norway, Sri Lanka will be able to address some of the key issues confronted by the fisheries industry. Norwegian Ambassador to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Crime Jonali Escadale, stated that fisheries remains one of the most important sectors for bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and Norway, and the ambassador firmly believes that the new collaboration will add value to Norway's long-standing cooperation with Sri Lanka and the FAO. The Norwegian ambassador holds that fisheries and aquaculture contribute immensely to food security, livelihoods and economic development, and that it is crucial to protect fisheries and the abundant resources of Sri Lanka. The ambassador added that Norway is very keen to establish secure and sustainable fisheries ecosystems and increase capacity for sustainable production. To this end, the new project aims to safeguard the fisheries and aquaculture resources in Sri Lanka, which Norway views as timely and important. FAO representative for Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Vimalendra Sharan, says the FAO works to increase the resilience of people and their livelihoods in the face of threats and crises. Stay tuned for stock updates after this break.
Sponsored by
UHD quality video streaming, internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber.
Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all share price index dropped 43.40 points to close at 8,064.69, and the S&P SL20 dropped 23.95 points to close at 2,655.38. The turnover was 1.2 billion rupees and over 77 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. Take care and good night.